Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the Ramverk 26-liter backpack from Douchebags. And a while back we took a look at the original Douchebags backpack, which was a 21 to 22 liter daily bag. I really enjoyed using that over the past couple of years. I actually still have that bag. I use it regularly, and so I was excited to see the company come out with a similar bag that offered a little bit more capacity. So in this video I'm going to be talking about my experience testing this out over the past couple of weeks. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, and I'll also talk about how this compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, I want to thank the company for sending the bag for me to test out. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing, as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the outside of the bag, I really like the overall aesthetic. The look here is very similar to the previous version of the backpack that we looked at, and I was a big fan of that style. It's a very distinct look in my opinion. It's a mixture of modern and technical, so you have kind of the clean sides and modern look, but then on the front you still have some straps and attachment points which, prevent it from being a super minimal and techie looking bag. So I think it's an interesting mixture that's going to work well in a lot of different environments, whether you're exploring the city, going into the outdoors. This feels like it might be a little more technical than what I would normally like to take into an office or wear with a more professional outfit, but in this blacked out colorway, I still think it could work pretty well in that use case as well. Particularly, one of the changes that I like here is down at the bottom, you have the very subtle Douchebags logo, and it doesn't have the name, it just says DB, and it doesn't have anything else. So if you had any concerns on prior versions of their bag of taking it into a professional setting with that brand name, then that could be a little bit more peace of mind with this change here. So I really like that implementation. And then continuing into the materials, the bag on the exterior is made out of a 500D PVC tarpaulin, which feels like it's going to offer a nice amount of weather resistance and durability. It feels pretty thick and padded. On the front you also have Douchebags' rib cage technology, I believe is what they call it. I'm not sure what this material is, but it does feel like it has some rigidity and like it's going to offer padding for the items that are on the inside. So a nice mixture of material here, as it feels like the bag is going to hold up well to rougher usage. And then you have some nice YKK zippers on the exterior that have worked very smoothly. Continuing along the outside, as I mentioned, on the front you have a few attachment points with some webbing that's going to work well for something like a carabiner. I usually attach my hero clip onto one of these sections here, and it's great that, if you're traveling, you want to attach a pair of shoes or just use it for other accessories, that you have a few different attachment points to do so. And then you also have these straps on the front which are adjustable. They have these kind of metallic hooks which feel very durable. They're very easy to get on and off, and you can use this to hold larger items such as a yoga mat, a jacket, or even a skateboard that don't fit on the inside of the bag. And then along the exterior is where I noticed some of the biggest changes between this and the previous version of the bag. Most noticeably, there's no longer an external water bottle pocket, which I was a big fan of. I was sad to see that this doesn't have that, as it was nice to be able to quickly access and store my water bottle. With this bag, I have to store it on the inside if I want to take it with me. And then on the other side, there was also some straps on the previous version that worked well for attaching something like a tripod or a jacket. So although it gives the bag a little bit more of a streamlined and cleaner look, it is a little bit sad to lose some of that functionality. Moving into the capacity, the bag comes in at about 26 liters, which is a really versatile size in my opinion. I was easily able to hold all the items that I normally like to carry with me, and I still had plenty of leftover space. And I like that even when the bag is a little bit more packed out, it maintains a pretty slim silhouette, which hugs my back nicely and makes it great for navigating crowded areas, jumping onto public transit, and carrying on to pretty much any domestic or international airline. The Ramverk is also offered in a smaller 21 liter size, which is going to work great if you happen to have a smaller frame or a more minimal daily carry. Normally 21 liters is kind of my ideal daily bag size, but I was a big fan of this 26 liter version that I have here. It felt like it managed to give you a lot of extra space without looking a lot bigger, so it doesn't feel like an overwhelming day-to-day bag, and I like that it still gave me extra capacity for whenever I wanted to use this for minimal travel. And while we're talking about the size and shape of the bag, one thing that I wanted to call out is that it actually holds its shape pretty well. So the PVC materials that are used here feel fairly rigid, and the bag really just kind of maintains its shape even when it's a little bit emptier, which helps it stand up pretty well on its own. That's normally something that a lot of people look for with their bags, and I was very comfortable just placing this down. It didn't feel like it was going to tip over, especially if I had the bag loaded out in a pretty balanced way. Taking a look at the straps and the back paneling, so far the bag has been pretty comfortable to wear. These straps have a decent amount of padding. It's a little bit thinner than I would like to see on a bag of this size. On the inside, it has this kind of gel-like padding that's really soft and comfortable out of the box. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any sort of breathable mesh, which I would have liked to have seen. And these straps are a little more narrow than I would have expected for a 26-liter bag, but so far I haven't felt them digging into my shoulders, even when the bag has been a little bit more packed out. At the top, you have these metallic hooks similar to the ones that we saw on the front, which are meant to pair with some of Douchebags' larger travel backpacks and allow you to hook this onto one of those bags while you're traveling so you don't have to wear it on your back. It's kind of an interesting alternative to having a luggage pass-through, but I haven't had a chance to test that out in real life. And then one last thing I wanted to call out on the straps is that you don't have a sternum strap or the ability to add one, which I was a little bit surprised by, considering that this is a slightly larger bag and you can add camera gear to it or minimal travel, so it might start to get a little bit heavier, and it would have been nice to have at least been able to add a sternum strap if you wanted to have a little bit of extra support. Moving into the back paneling, this has also been pretty comfortable. There's a decent amount of padding here, and the padding is actually fairly rigid, so it offers a nice amount of support, especially when the bag is a little bit more packed out. I do wish, however, that the back paneling had been more breathable overall. You don't really have a lot of mesh on the back, and then you do have some slight air channels here, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more elevation to give you some extra ventilation and airflow while walking around throughout the day. Jumping into the organizational options, the bag keeps things really simple. On the exterior, you just have one quick access pocket at the top, and I love the implementation here. It has a nice wide opening and a ton of space. I'm always a big fan of bags that have large quick access compartments at the top, as I'm always reaching down to grab stuff, and this one just gives you a lot of flexibility with what you can store. Even with the items that I have in here, you can see there's leftover space if I wanted to use it. So what I currently have here are my Ray-Ban sunglasses with their case. I also have a lightning cable and power brick to charge my tablet and my phone. I have my GoPro, and then I also tossed in my BluePop portable Bluetooth speaker and power bank. Beyond that, not a whole lot of internal organization or slip pockets here, just a nice open area that's gonna work well if you wanna toss in some pouches when you're traveling, your liquids. This does take up space from the main area of the bag, so if you load this out completely, you'll have to keep that in mind as you're packing out the rest of the bag, but I like the flexibility that's offered here with the amount of volume that it has. And then on the flap, you have an additional mesh zippered compartment that's pretty small, but it's gonna be a great spot to store some of these smaller items that you might need to get to during the day. So in my case, I just stored a flashlight and a pen in here. And then you also have a little plastic clip on a lanyard on the inside that's gonna be a great spot to attach something like your keys or a multi-tool. The next area that we're going to be taking a look at is the laptop compartment, and I really like that this has a separate and externally accessible laptop compartment. You have a nice zipper on the side, so you can easily get to this when you're traveling. The zipper itself offers an okay amount of protection. I would have liked to have seen maybe an aqua guard here, and then at the top it would have been nice to have a zipper garage of some sort, as you know, it closes up pretty well, but there's a slight gap sometimes at the top, so you'll have to make sure that you really close this up if you're traveling or going outdoors somewhere in case you happen to get caught in some rain. Opening the compartment up, I like how smoothly this side access compartment opens, very nice there, and then you have plenty of space for up to a 15 or 16-inch laptop. Currently what I have here is my 13-inch MacBook Pro. You can see there's some leftover space at the top. Unfortunately, this compartment isn't suspended off the bottom of the ground, which I really would have liked to have seen. The bottom of the bag has some padding, but it would have been nice to have this be pulled up just a little bit to give you some more peace of mind when placing the bag down on the ground. So pulling my device out. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. There's no fleece lining on the inside, which would have been nice to help prevent against scratching, and I do wish that the sleeve itself was maybe a little bit more rigid and padded to just give you some extra peace of mind. It is nice that the compartment comes up a decent amount, so if you happen to have a thicker device, it should be able to fit in here okay. Or if you want to place your laptop in a protective sleeve or case of some sort, that should work as well. So although it's not as padded and suspended as I would normally like to see, it still feels like my device is going to be pretty well protected and accessible while I'm running around throughout the day. And then moving into the main compartment, I really like that the bag has a clamshell style opening so that I can easily see everything that's on the inside. I'm always a big fan of clamshell style bags. And I really love the simple, just bucket style layout of this backpack. It is able to hold a ton of stuff, and because of the simple layout and the volume that it has, it works quite well for bulkier items, which I'm always a big fan of. It's really great for modular packing in particular. So even with the items that I have in here, which is more than I would normally have with me on my day-to-day, I still have some leftover capacity if I wanted to toss in a jacket or a change of clothes. So diving right into what I have here, first up, I tossed in my Matador Nano Dry shower towel just because I had space for it. Then I have my Beats Studio wireless headphones with their hard case. I also tossed in the Air Slim pouch, which has a lot of tech accessories and dongles that I normally like to use. I also have here near the top this little pouch from Nightcore, which is a little bit more padded. It's something that I use to hold sometimes some of my action camera accessories or drone accessories. And then down near the bottom, I have the Alpaca Elements Tech case, which I reviewed very recently. This has been one of my favorites that has come out as of late, which just has a lot of different organizational options for all of the items that I might need with me while working remote, and just keeps me really organized. Down at the bottom, I also have a full-size moleskin notebook. I have my DJI Mavic Mini with its hardshell case as well. And then I tossed in my water bottle here, which I wasn't as crazy about. I'm never a big fan of placing my water bottle inside of the backpack, but since there's nowhere to attach it externally that I would be comfortable with, I just tossed it in here. But at least the laptop isn't in this compartment, so there is a little bit of separation there, and I had plenty of space for it. And then I also tossed in my Levitate portable standing desk. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. So just a really simple layout overall. I like that it has a lighter lining so you can see into the compartment and identify anything that you need. At the top here, you can get an idea of how much space this quick access pocket will take up when it's a little bit more packed out. And then the inside has changed a little bit from the original backpack that I looked at. The biggest change is that there's no longer mesh zippered compartments along the sides, which the original had. I didn't really use those too much. I never knew what I could kind of store in those compartments, so I don't really mind that they've been removed. I like the cleaner interior that it gives the bag, and with the amount of space that I have here, I can definitely use this for minimal travel. I can toss in a packing cube, an extra pair of shoes, maybe even an extra smaller packing cube and a dop kit, and I'm good to go for a longer weekend trip or even a week of travel if needed. With the clamshell style opening and the amount of space that's offered here, Douchebags also sells a separate camera insert that you can place into this area if you want to turn this into a camera backpack. If you have additional gear that you need to carry with you and access, you can open this up, reach whatever you need. You know, I don't have that insert to test out. I can see it working well with that or with some of the other camera accessories that I've used in the past. And then taking a look at the flap of the main compartment, you have some additional zippered compartments to give you some organization for any of the items that you might need to grab a little bit more easily that you don't want getting lost in the larger compartment. So I like the variety of pockets offered here. You have 3 different sizes. At the bottom, you have the largest compartment, which is gonna be good for holding, you know, any tech accessories or, you know, maybe toiletries that you might have while traveling. And I like that they're mesh compartments, so you can have a sense of what's in these pockets. They also have a decent amount of volume, so if you have something a little bit thicker, it's still able to handle that. The mesh, however, isn't super elastic, so you kind of just have to work with the volume that's there. In this bottom compartment, I tossed in a USB-C hub that I use with my laptop and my other devices, the cable that goes with that hub, and then I also have a retractable HDMI cable. Moving up in the middle section, you have a slightly smaller compartment, but that still offers plenty of space. And again, because of the mesh, I can easily see what's in the compartment. In this one, I tossed in the little manicure set that I like to have with me. I also have a little tin with some band-aids and ointment, and I also have a simple deck of playing cards here. And then at the top, you have the smallest of the compartments, but it still offers enough space for any of these smaller tech or EDC items that you might need to grab a little bit more regularly during the day. So in my case, I just tossed in my Apple AirPods, and then I also have my Apple Magic Mouse. So I really love the variety of compartments offered on this flap and just the space and layout of this main area. I really like the design of the bag. I was a big fan of the previous version, and I like the upgrades that have been made to the materials and the size. I was still a little bit sad to see that there's no external water bottle compartment, but beyond that, it's a really solid bag, and if you're looking for something versatile and spacious that's gonna work well for your everyday or for minimal travel, then this is gonna be a great option to check out. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the Ramverk 26-liter backpack over the past couple of weeks, and you can currently purchase this on the company site for about $259, so it's definitely a bit of an investment. The price feels slightly high in my opinion. You are getting a very well-built bag that offers a ton of versatility, but there's also going to be some other great bags in this price range that may be worth considering. And so as I was testing this out, the first bag this made me think of is the Evergood CPL24 V2, which I've talked about a lot on this channel over the past year. I really love the upgrades that Evergood's made to an already awesome bag. Like this one, it has a clamshell style opening. I really love the organizational layout on that bag. It just gives you some extra options. The laptop compartment on that is going to be suspended and a little bit more padded than this one here. At 24 liters, it's not going to be able to hold quite as much, but the CPL is also offered in a 28-liter version if you actually need a little bit more capacity to this. And so that's just a very solidly built bag. It's comfortable to wear. It comes in a similar price range to this. So if you're looking for something a little more minimal and streamlined that might work a little bit better in the outdoors, and that's going to be a great option to take a look at. The next bag this made me think of is the Huru H2, which we looked at pretty recently. And that is a bag that, like this one, has a pretty distinct personality. It's just a very unique style. It has kind of a flashy buckle on the front, and I really love the organizational layout on that bag. The pocketing layout just works very nicely. It has a clamshell style opening. It comes in at about 21 to 22 liters. It offers just the right amount of capacity, so it's not going to hold quite as much as this one, but it's just going to offer some extra pocketing, good laptop protection, and if you're interested for a bag that has this type of a vibe, but that's going to be a little bit smaller and offer some extra organization, but still give you a great build quality, then that's going to be a good option to keep in mind. Another bag this made me think of is Bellroy's Transit line of backpacks. Bellroy has a few different sizes of their Transit line. They have the 20-liter work pack, which is probably my favorite of the line. They have the 28-liter Transit backpack, which is probably the closest in size to this one here. And they have a larger Transit Plus, which is going to be great for one bag travel. And those are some really nice minimal bags that offer clamshell style opening, nice organization, the solid build quality and sophisticated aesthetics that Bellroy brings to their bags. They're going to be in a similar price range. I really love the laptop protection on those. I think it's a little bit better than the one found on this bag. They're also just going to be maybe a little bit better for a professional setting. So if you're looking for something that is going to give you a lot of space, a great build quality, and it's just going to fit in a little bit better with a nicer outfit or a professional environment, then those are definitely going to be worth taking a look at. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Able Carry Max backpack, which is another great bag that's come out over the past year. Very solidly built. It actually has a little bit better weather resistance than this one, in my opinion. Great laptop protection. That one's going to come in at 30 liters, so it's a little bit bigger. It's more of a minimal one bag travel bag that can still work for EDC. It's a little bit bigger for EDC than what I would like, in my opinion. I actually prefer the Ramverk if I was looking for something that I could use for my day-to-day, but it's an awesome bag with a great organizational layout, a very comfortable harness system, and if you're looking for something capable that's going to give you just a little bit more capacity and weather resistance, then that's going to be a great option to keep in mind. With that being said, the Ramverk 26-liter backpack compares pretty well against all those bags, and if you're looking for a versatile and stylish bag that's going to offer plenty of space and organization for your everyday carry needs, then this is going to be a fantastic option to take a look at. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think of the Ramverk backpack and how it compares to some of the other great kind of all-purpose bags that we featured on the channel in the past. And if there are any similar options that you think I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank the company again for sending the bag for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.